One box drawn the first hour of the day. It tells you how the entire session is going to move, and almost nobody's using it right. It hands you a map for everything that happens after it. Most traders stare right past it and wonder why they're guessing all day, chasing entries, getting stopped out, and forcing trade they never bothered to read. By the end of this video, you're able to look at the chart and know what kind of day it is at the first hour of the market open. No guessing, no additional indicator. This is what you call the initial balance. It's one of the most underrated indicators in the game of trading. Let's dive into it. So, what is the initial balance? It's one box that is drawn the first hour of the day of the stock market exchange open. So NYSE. So it's the first hour after it. So it's whatever the high and the low in between that. As you can see, market opens and it's the first 60 minutes and prints the range of it. The top, so it's the top of the range is what you call the IB high, and the bottom of your range is what you call IB low. It's not the line you drew. It is where real volume transaction at the open. So it's you, me, and every other institution watching this market see the same exact box. Why the first hour? That hour sets the rail for the whole day. It tells you the highest volume, so where the biggest player steps in during the open. It tells you what the day is going to be like based on the overnight news, pre-market moves, whatever it is. It will give you a direction to head towards. So either bullish or bearish that day. Then everything reference it. So price extends off of it, rejects off of it, or rotate inside of it all day. If you remember one thing, the size of IB tells you what kind of day it is. So if it's really tight, it's most likely going to be a range day. So price will rotate or bounce back and forth inside the IB. So at that point, you just fade back to middle. There's no conviction in those trades. Or you don't trade at all. If it's wide and big, it's most likely a trend day. So price will likely break out or it continues to break out. And once it pulled back to like IB high or IB low, you buy or sell at that point and it keeps going. So this is an example of a range day, what it looks like. It's consolidating inside a box. So it's narrow, price run back to IB high, rejects, or go IB low and bounce off. That's what a range day is. Then trend day, it breaks off, it widens, and it keeps on going. So it can retest IB high and just keep on going, or retest IB low and just keep on going. So why it matters? It kills two things that wreck traders. You don't know where the price will react, and you don't know what kind of day it is. So it solves two issues. When you don't know what's going on, you start to become a gambler. So you force trades all day. A trader reads the day and waits for their level. So IB high or IB low, wherever it breaks. So remember, whenever you do this, mark the box, read the size, and know your day. Wait until it draws the first hour high and low. Read the size. Is it tight or wide? And identify if it's a range day or trend day. And see how that works well with your strat. Remember, we're traders, not gamblers. And in this next session, I'll show you guys an example of how I use IB. Okay, guys, I'll show you guys a real example of how I IB in this video. So let's get into it. So I use this indicator called initial balance from Newt. And this is what will show up. Mine looks a little different because I already changed the settings for it. So I'll show you guys what I use for the settings. So just make sure you guys change the time based on your time zone. So my New York Stock Exchange opens at 8:30 and the first hour ends around 9:30. So it may vary depending on where you guys live. Everything else, this is what my settings are. I don't usually show labels, but I'm going to show labels for you guys so you guys can visualize it. But yeah, these are my settings. I like it white to keep it clean. You guys probably could do black if you guys have a white background, or whatever colorway you guys want. Just do whatever you guys' heart contents. So on Monday, July 13th, was this YM. So you kind of see around 8:30 the market opens, so it starts drawing the shade, white box. Then when it ends around 9:30, so right here, it stops shading. So the low of the point will be your IB low, and then the high will be your IB high. So whenever it breaks out, as you can see, it eventually did break out around 11 to 10:55, and it starts going head towards the downside. So let me draw that for you guys. So like right here. And it went to 50%. Usually, whenever it breaks IB on a good trend day, it will head towards IB 100. On a really good trend day, it could even go to IB times 3. But most of the time, it goes to IB 2 before it bounces back. Okay. Yeah, most of the time when it breaks out, it stays out, as you can see. Sometime occasionally it does go back in, but majority of the time it will stay outside the IB once it breaks. And yeah, stays right there. I have my session box open. So this is my NY session right now. This is London, and this is Asian session. So IB only works during NY session. Just remember that. Okay. I'm see if I can find you another example where IB breaks. It's kind of the same thing right here. See, it broke. It just remains above it throughout the day. This one fake break. But you see, kind of see how this one just kind of stalls. So this one's most likely arranged. See if I can find you guys a good example where IB breaks. And yeah, this is a good example of a range. You see how IB never broke outside that white line. So I can find you guys a trend one. Yeah, here's an example of trend one. So this one, IB broke out around 9:35 and it went up. I think it went up to IB 200 or times 2. So double the IB of what the initial was. See, it went to IB times 2. So this is a good example of when it breaks, it does break, it does trend. But there's low volume. That's why it's day before 4th of July. So, but usually whenever it does trend, it does have higher volume than this. But other than that, that's pretty much what IB is. The only downside is, yeah, you do miss the opening range sometimes on it, but it is less of a risk whenever there's chaotic stuff going on in the market than in opening hours. So usually, if you don't see anything on the first hour, you wait until IB is established. Then you can find some type of settings to go base off, or your trade setup to base off IB. I hope you guys like this video. Like for a thumbs up if you guys like this video. I have a free checklist at the bottom of the video where I list out all the conditions of how to use IB properly. You guys free to download, so just click the link below and check it out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys the next time.